Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
Patricia Bird testified that she was in custody with Donna Adelson and slept right next to her in their pod. She said they talked every day, all day.
Once you and Donna Adelson became close friends, did she ever talk to you about her pending case, this case?
She did.
When y'all would have those conversations, did you ever outright ask her whether she did what she's accused of?
I did.
And what did she say to that?
She said she did. It was to keep her grandkids, but it wasn't supposed to go that far.
We're still covering the murder trial of Donna Adelson, who's accused of being the mastermind behind the killing of Dan Markel, a Florida State University law professor who was shot in the head after pulling his car into his driveway in July 2014. Some of the last witnesses the state of Florida presented to the jury were inmates, who they say got to know Donna while behind bars. According to Patricia Bird, Donna asked her if she was ever in custody with a woman named Catherine Magbanua. Patricia told her that she was several years prior.
Once Donna Adelson knew that, what did Donna Adelson want you to do?
She wanted me to say that Magbanua told me when we killed him, I knew my boyfriend's parents had money.
Okay, so basically, she and some other people did this crime, and they did it because her boyfriend's parents had money.
Yes.
Who did she want you to tell that to?
She wanted me to tell it to whoever came up and asked me about it, and the investigators.
Okay. Did she offer you anything in exchange for you providing that information?
Yes.
What did she offer you?
A trailer and some land, and she would have her husband fix my teeth.
Okay. So, like, if you got out of custody, she'd help you buy a trailer and land?
Yes.
And that her husband could fix your teeth?
Yes.
Like veneers?
Yes.
Now, was any of that true as far as did Magbanua ever say those things to you?
No, she did not.
Did Donna Adelson give you other gifts while in custody?
Yes.
Like what?
She would buy canteen and she would bring it over to my bed.
What's canteen?
Canteen is food that we buy off commissary.
Okay. It's kind of like chips and candy and other things that
and noodles and stuff like that.
Okay. But it costs money to buy those things?
Yes.
Okay. But she would buy those or extra and she'd give it to you?
Yes.
Patricia told the jury that at some point, Donna's attorneys and their investigators came to visit her in the jail. She said she told them it wasn't true that Katie had said any of that, and that Donna had wanted her to say that it was. She said she also told her own attorney what was going on, and that once she did that, an investigator from the state attorney's office came to see her. Drina Bernhardt said she too was incarcerated with Donna and was friendly with her.
Initially, it was very nice. She actually called me her jail daughter, and she and I got close. And how much more detail do you want?
Well, by close, did you talk to each other about personal things, like your life?
Yes.
Okay. And did she have a nickname for you besides her jail daughter?
Yes, Sunshine.
Drina was asked if Donna ever talked about her grandchildren, and Drina said yes. She said Donna was very close with them, and every now and then would call them her children. She said Donna often spoke about her case.
At some point, did you end up reaching out to law enforcement to report some of the things that she had been saying to you about her case?
Yes, I did.
And why did you do that?
Well, initially I did it for selfish reasons, but more that I spent time with Donna, I realized that it was morally correct and I wanted to get justice for the Markel family.
Okay, so you felt it was the right thing to do, but you were also hoping to get something out of it.
Yes.
And what kind of thing were you hoping to get out of it?
Just help, lighter sentence, maybe rehab.
Okay, and are you still hoping that might be the outcome for you?
Maybe, but right now I'm more interested in justice for the Markel family.
She said Donna told her she was extremely worried about her son Rob testifying against her.
And at some point, did the defendant try to recruit you to become a witness for her in this case?
Yes.
How did she first approach you about that?
She asked me if I would be willing to do it, and I said yes.
Okay. And was this topic discussed one time or more than one time?
More than once.
How many times can you estimate? A lot?
A lot, yes.
Okay. And what is it that she wanted you to testify about?
She wanted me to testify about numerous different things about Kay, mostly about Miss McBanois.
And Miss McBanois, you knew her by the nickname Kay?
Yes.
Okay. And so she had some things she wanted you to say about Kay.
Correct.
At some point, did she prepare a script for you of exactly what she wanted you to testify to?
She did.
Prosecutor Kappelman displayed a script on the screen that Drina said Donna had written for her.
Whose handwriting is this on this first page?
That's Donna's, Miss Adelson.
Okay, so she wrote this in your notebook?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it you were supposed to do with this information?
I was supposed to study it and answer it correctly on the stand for her.
So this is what she wanted you to say in court?
Yes, ma'am.
So, for example, how did you know Donna Adelson? You were supposed to say everyone knew her. She's been on the news. I've seen and heard about this on TV shows and read it in the newspaper over the years.
Correct.
Do you read the newspaper?
No.
Okay. Did you know much about her or her case prior to coming in contact with her in the Leon County Jail?
No, ma'am.
The script said that Drina had approached Donna and said that she had information about Kay.
This says that Kay told you that she told Charlie on the night of the murder that some friends of hers went to Tallahassee and killed him. Did Kay ever tell you that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. She asked him to give her the $1/3 of $1 million that he was going to pay his sister so that she could relocate with her children to Miami. He went crazy on her. He said that that was going to be an offer to his brother-in-law not to kill him. Did Kay ever say any of that to you?
No, ma'am.
And then over here, she convinced him that the murderers think a woman is paying for this. They don't know Charlie. She told him she wouldn't tell her friends who he is. She can keep him safe. So she was, according to this story, extorting money out of Charlie, but he didn't know it. He thought she was his friend, but really she was his enemy. Is that the deal?
Yes, I suppose that's what it's supposed to be.
All right, and did Kay, Catherine McBanois, ever say any of that to you?
No.
There's a part on here that says she laughed about how easy it was to extort, and extort is underlined. Did you underline that, or did Mrs. Adelson underline that?
I didn't underline it.
Okay. How easy it was to extort him for the money. He wouldn't have to take her out to a fancy dinner. She could buy plenty of fancy dinners with the $1/3 of $1 million. She said she fooled her baby daddy and she fooled Charlie. Sigfredo would do anything for her, and he did. Charlie was scared and easy to extort. What a stupid fool. He believed her that she was keeping him safe from the killers. Ha ha, what a joke. Is that the type Is that the type of language that Catherine Magbanua would use?
No.
Do you know her well enough to tell this jury that she wouldn't say something like, what a stupid fool, ha ha, what a joke?
Yeah, she wouldn't talk like that.
Drina said that while she was in jail, she received packages and phone calls and was promised other things in the future.
What other types of things?
$10,000, a grand piano.
What else?
She promised me cameras, but
none of that came to fruition.
no.
Okay. And what about pills? Did she mention anything to you about pills?
Yes, that if I needed pills, that I could call a doctor named, I think, Obed. I think that's his name.
Okay.
Yes.
And that person would write you some prescriptions?
Yes, ma'am.
And why would you be in need of prescription medication?
I'm a recovering drug addict.
She said Harvey Adelson was going to send her money through Zelle.
And how are you supposed to contact Harvey Adelson?
Through a phone app called Signal.
Okay. Had you ever heard of the phone app Signal before?
No, ma'am.
Kate Butler is a senior crime analyst who analyzed the script prosecutors said Donna had given to Drina. She went through all the characters in the script and concluded that the handwriting was Donna Adelson's. In today's episode, the conclusion of Donna Adelson's trial. This is Jillian in partnership with Law and Crime. You are listening to Court Junkie. Court Junkie is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. Sergeant Chris Corbett took the stand once again to close out the state of Florida's case against Donna Adelson. He was asked to go over the script Donna had given to Drina. He said what Donna wanted Drina to say, that Katie had told her, was similar to Charlie's defense at his trial, that the hitmen went to Tallahassee and killed Dan on their own, and then had Katie extort Charlie.
In Charlie Adelson's testimony, did he say that he paid Catherine Magbanua $3,000 a month because he did not have $250,000?
That's correct.
Okay. Did he say he gave her, I think it was $138,000 that night or the next morning, and then the rest was $3,000 a month over time?
That's correct.
And was that paid, he said, from $1,000 a month in her paycheck from Adelson Institute and $2,000 in cash?
Yes.
And in his testimony, did he say that Magbanua assured him that none of the money would be going to her? She was giving it all to the extorters, including the money from her paycheck?
Yes.
And did he testify that he told his mother, Donna Adelson, about the extortion in September of 2014?
Yes.
All right, can we move on to the next paragraph? I have a couple of questions about that. Okay, in this middle paragraph and in this final paragraph, is the word extort used twice?
Yes.
Okay, and then at the bottom, haha is written out?
It is, yes.
Looking at the word, the first time we see the word extort on this page, is that underlined for emphasis?
It appears to be, yes.
Okay, when did Donna Adelson first learn of the meaning of the word extortion?
Well, we know that there was a search from the web history of that forensic examination. I can move to that now. That was in October of 23. That is reference to extortion versus blackmail.
Okay, and what date was that search made?
Again, October 16th of 2023.
Was that about a week before Charlie Adelson's trial began?
It is, yes.
That she's looking up the difference between extortion and blackmail?
Correct.
And that would be even though, according to his testimony, he and his mother had been being extorted since 2014?
Correct.
Sergeant Corbett introduced more text messages from Donna's cell phone that was taken from her at the airport. It was discovered that during Charlie's trial, Donna and Wendy were texting back and forth. The opening statements in Charlie's trial began on October 24th, 2023. Charlie testified on November 2nd about the extortion.
All right, and in this conversation between Donna Adelson and Wendy Adelson, did Donna Adelson agree that Charlie Adelson's testimony about being extorted was the truth, that he was telling the truth?
She did, yes.
Okay, can we see that exchange?
Yes.
Now, right before this exchange, did Wendy Adelson send a prayer hands emoji?
Yes.
Okay, and then what was Donna Adelson's response to that?
That we shouldn't have to pray. He's telling the truth, protected his little sister for years, differs through this, and now what? Prayer hands.
And then does she clarify that she meant suffers, not differs?
Yes.
Okay, so what date was this text sent on?
Again, November 6th of 2023.
So this would have been about 4 days after Charlie Adelson's testimony.
Correct.
But before a verdict was rendered in the case.
That's correct.
Prosecutor Dugan put up 6 different text messages retrieved from Donna's phone, where she's texting friends that, finally, the truth is out.
And so she's seeing if people are watching more about it being the truth. Is that right?
Yes.
It says Dan just proved extortion. Was Dan Rashbaum Charlie Adelson's attorney at trial?
He was, yes.
These messages say, "Have you been watching the last 45 minutes? Finally, the truth comes out. Dan just proved extortion. It's easy when you're telling the truth. Thank you, listening to what really happened. Finally." And, "But his attorney will speak for him, and finally the truth will come out." Donna also texted Wendy.
She says that she's sorry this has been our life for so many years. It has been torture, but your lawyer didn't want you to know what happened. I think if you did, our relationship and your with Charlie would have been much different. I hope he knew what he was doing. Your testimony was crucial. Let's see what a jury does to him and to the rest of us. You know I'm next, but that won't happen. I'll take care of that.
What date is that? Or was that sent? What date was that sent?
November 1st of 23.
So she's saying she hasn't told Wendy about this extortion defense because Wendy's attorney didn't want her to.
Correct.
And it might affect their relationship.
Yes.
According to Sergeant Corbett, once they did a Cellbrite extraction on Donna's phone, they were able to see that she had been communicating with Charlie for years over WhatsApp. He said they also came across some messages between Donna and Charlie that they didn't previously have. In July 2016, for example, 2 years after Dan's murder and after the arrests of Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera, the two of them talked about good news after Charlie said his attorney ran into Sigfredo Garcia's attorney. Prosecutor Dugan pointed out that neither Charlie nor Donna ever expressed any anger when talking about Sigfredo Garcia for killing Dan, even though at this point, Charlie would have allegedly told his mom how he was being extorted and who the real killers were. The following month, Charlie texted Donna, "Did you see in the paper where the state's star witness that rented the hotel room is a convicted cocaine dealer? Maybe those guys were just up in Tallahassee buying drugs and just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe the coke dealer did it because Danny didn't pay for his drugs just like he stiffed everybody else he did business with. This whole thing is just crazy." "I did not see that. Which paper?" Donna replied. Charlie texted that it was in the Tallahassee Democrat. Donna responded, "Wow, I've stopped reading everything."
Does she say, "What are you talking about? You told me that they've been extorting us for 2 years."
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
Is there anything about extortion in these messages?
There is not.
In another message, Charlie wrote, "The guy admitted to selling them cocaine and hanging out with them." "OMG," Donna responded. "So a convicted felon who is still selling drugs is their star witness," Charlie wrote. Going back to November 2023, on the day of Charlie's conviction, Donna texted Wendy, "There's a verdict." After the verdict was read, Wendy responded, "I love you very much. Call if you feel like you can." Donna wrote, "Your brother protected you for years. Now you are not guilty. Your lawyer took very good care of you. You can bury me in the dress that I bought for Lincoln's bar mitzvah." Within 24 hours of the verdict, Donna started reaching out to people about a fast-track emergency visa for Vietnam.
Now, was there other evidence that showed that the Adelsons did not have plans of returning home anytime soon? What was found on her phone as far as her Amazon deliveries?
So there was a message to herself, kind of as a reminder, and this was on November 8th, to stop Amazon deliveries.
Okay, and was there a note left in their apartment to sell a belonging?
Yes.
Okay. Does this indicate that this is who Wendy should call to get the paperwork so the gun can be sold if it is to be sold?
Yes, as it needs to be sold with the paperwork.
All right. What about, we've heard about Donna Adelson's planner. Was there some entries in the planner for the week after Charlie Adelson's trial that indicated they weren't planning to come home anytime soon? What's the first entry here?
So the first entry we see is sell and list jewelry, dishes, implants, comics.
There was also a note to cancel disability insurance, a note for Wendy to tell Charlie's attorney about Vietnam and that he must tell Charlie on his private line, an entry for Charlie's child support payments through 2025, 2 years in advance, and a reminder to tell Wendy to do October expenses for 3 properties in the computer.
And then was there evidence in Donna Adelson's phone of why they chose Vietnam, why Vietnam was chosen as where they were going to go?
There were searches related to extradition, which would have contained Vietnam as non-extradition.
After Sergeant Corbett got off the stand, the state rested their case. Anne Elizabeth Cunningham, the defense's first witness, is a former special education teacher who has known Donna Adelson since 2009. Her life partner went to high school with Harvey, and the 4 of them were friends. They socialized together and traveled together. They were in regular contact with each other. She said she never met Rob, but knew Wendy and Charlie as well.
With respect to Mrs. Adelson and your observations of her over these, 15 years, have you found her to be a hateful person?
Never.
Is she aggressive towards others?
Never.
Have you ever heard her threaten anyone?
Never.
Have you ever seen her harm anyone?
Never.
Have you ever heard her threaten to have somebody harmed?
No.
She said she was friends with Donna during Wendy's divorce from Dan. She testified that Donna never said she ever wanted to harm Dan. She would be frustrated at times, but never once claimed she was going to do anything to him. She said sometimes she and Donna would be on landlines to communicate, other times cell phones. Since they traveled together, they also used apps like WhatsApp. She described the day Dan Markel was killed. She said Donna called her and told her what happened.
When she called you, did she appear to be upset?
Very.
Was she crying?
Yes.
Was her tone of voice, based on your knowledge of her for the 15 years, did she seem to be upset?
Very.
Okay. Did she seem to be at a point in time where she had just learned what had occurred?
Yes.
Did she indicate to you whether she had just learned that this had happened?
Yes.
Okay.
She did.
I'm sorry?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And during the course of your discussion with her about what had transpired, did she continue with this state of mind that she was upset?
Yes.
Okay. And while she was upset, what did she indicate to you?
She told me that Danny had been shot and that they were going to Tallahassee and that she was very concerned and worried about Wendy and the boys, whether they were in danger.
Okay.
Because she did not know who had shot him.
Okay. And did she indicate whether she was concerned about Danny and him being in the hospital?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did she indicate whether she had plans to go to see him at the hospital?
I don't recall.
Okay.
She said she spoke to Donna again after Donna got to Tallahassee. Donna told her the memorial service for Dan was incredibly sad, painful, and wrenching. She was very upset. She was asked if she kept up with the case after Charlie was arrested, and she said she doesn't do social media, but it was on the news. She said she watched it as little as possible. She testified that she let Donna and Harvey stay at her home in Naples while she and her partner stayed at their other home in New Jersey. She said they wanted to stay at their home in part so they could watch Charlie's trial from there. After Charlie's conviction, she said Donna cried a lot and was very concerned about Harvey and Charlie. She was incredibly sad, she said.
And during the course of her conversation with you in that state, did it become to your attention that Mrs. Adelson was considering an option about her life because all of this had just happened?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that?
She was considering taking her own life.
Okay. And if you know, and if you don't, just say you don't, but if you know from those same conversations with her in that state of mind that she had, did she ever discuss with you a potential plan to just get away to clear her head?
Yes.
She said Donna was very excited about attending her grandson's upcoming bar mitzvah. Prosecutor Georgia Kappelman did the cross.
Pam, are you familiar with the defendant's statement that she could be buried in the bar mitzvah dress that she bought?
No, I'm not.
I guess if she was going to be buried in that dress, she probably wasn't, at least at the time she made that statement, going to be making it to the bar mitzvah. Would you agree?
No. She was always going to be making it to the bar mitzvah, as far as I knew.
Even if she was dead and buried, she was going to make it?
I never heard that.
Okay. Was she suicidal when you spoke with her? After Charlie's verdict?
Yes.
Okay. You were best friends with her?
Yes.
Okay. And she would call and vent to you about Danny Markel?
Sometimes.
All right. And did she ever call him names?
Not to my knowledge. Not to me.
Did she share with you that she was planning to offer a bribe to Mr. Markel to facilitate relocation?
I don't recall.
Did she talk to you about plans to threaten or to convert the children to Christianity in order to strong-arm Mr. Markel?
She mentioned that she had said that, and she said that was so foolish of me.
When did she say that?
I don't know whether we were together or on a phone call. I'm not sure.
Did she ever tell you that she was being extorted in reference to Mr. Markel's murder?
Eventually, yes.
Okay. And when you say eventually, when did she tell you that?
We were on a trip to Japan together.
Okay. When was the trip to Japan?
We took so many trips. I'm not exactly sure of the year.
Was it between the murder and the first arrests?
I don't recall.
Okay. And when she told you that she was being extorted, then naturally you learned that she knew who had killed Dan Markel.
No.
Obviously, it's the people that are extorting her, right?
She didn't know what... Are you talking about... Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
She was forced to make payments to the people that killed Dan Markel.
Yes.
That's what the checks were all about, right?
I don't know about the checks.
Well, when she told you she was being extorted, if it wasn't about the checks, how was she being extorted?
She was... I'm confusing that with the bump, I believe. That Charlie was being extorted by Catherine.
Prior to the bump, you knew that Charlie was being extorted by Catherine.
No, I believe it was afterwards.
After the bump, you learned that Charlie was being extorted by Catherine.
I'm not sure of the timeline.
Okay. And when you learned that Charlie was being extorted by Catherine, you learned that your best friend, Donna Adelson, was also being forced to write these checks as payment to the killers that were extorting.
I don't recall.
She was asked if she watched Charlie's trial, and she said just towards the end. She said she and Donna didn't really discuss it. Prosecutor Kappelman asked her if it would refresh her memory to see their text messages. She said yes, and Prosecutor Kappelman showed her copies of their texts.
So you did keep some tabs on your friend during the trial of her son?
Yes.
Okay, and she was watching the trial of her son, as we learned, at your residence, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when Charlie Adelson was convicted, You disagreed with the verdict, right?
Yes.
You think the jury got it wrong, didn't you?
Yes.
And that was out of loyalty to your friend, right?
No, I thought they got it wrong.
They got it wrong. Okay. And you, in fact, said to Mrs. Adelson, I know you are all innocent, all caps, all, right?
Yes.
Meaning Charlie's innocent.
Yes.
Wendy's innocent.
Definitely.
No Adelson had anything to do with the murder of Dan Markel. Isn't that what you think?
Yes.
Okay. And when she went to Vietnam, or was trying to go to Vietnam to clear her head, she was going to clear her head in a non-extradition country. Can you agree with that?
I wasn't aware it was non-extradition.
Okay. She was going to clear her head with a one-way ticket to go do the head clearing.
She had no idea how long they were staying or where they would go.
Are you familiar with her statement that she's hoping to make it out of the airport on time?
Yes.
Hoping to make it out before what?
No, she meant the plane was on time.
No, ma'am. I'm referring to hoping to make it out before law enforcement apprehended her. You aware of that?
No.
She didn't say that statement to you.
I don't recall, really.
On redirect, she said Donna told her that Charlie was being extorted, but never said she was. Ron Gutterson was Ann Cunningham's partner, who went to high school with Harvey. He recalled how he and Ann let Donna and Harvey stay at their home in Naples during Charlie's trial because Donna and Harvey were getting harassed by bloggers and reporters. After Charlie's conviction, he said Donna was distraught and Harvey was devastated.
After the conviction, did you become aware that Harvey and Donna were trying to travel to clear their heads?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know whether or not that was a permanent move or was it temporary?
It was, to the best of my knowledge, a temporary move. It was approximately November, and they were coming back in January or February for their youngest grandchild's bar mitzvah.
Although they were traveling, they made it clear that they'd be back for the bar mitzvah.
Yes. Donna had told Annie that she purchased a dress.
Can't say what somebody else said. Just you.
Yes, I was aware they were going to return.
Under any set of circumstances, would they not have returned?
I don't know. Under normal circumstances, they would move heaven and earth to be there for that traditional occasion.
Kelsey Guay is a senior digital forensics examiner. She reviewed call detail records from various carriers, including cell site location data for Donna, Harvey, and Charlie Adelson. She also reviewed Sergeant Corbett's reports and presentations. Her main focus, however, was on Donna's records. She said she tried to recreate Sergeant Corbett's charts, but she couldn't get the same number of calls as he did. There were a lot of duplicates. She reviewed the cell site location data for Donna's cell phone for July 18, 2014.
In your review of the records, the call detail records that were provided to you, obtained by law enforcement, did Donna Adelson's handset ever connect to a tower that could provide coverage to Charlie Adelson's home on July 18th of 2014?
No.
With those same records, was there any instance on July 18th of 2014 where Charlie Adelson's handset and Donna Adelson's handset were connecting to the same tower?
No.
On cross, she agreed that there's no location data available for when Donna sent the message outside your house, but that the content of the message suggests where she is. Richard Shagrin was also close friends with Donna and Harvey. He and his wife went on many vacations with them, too. The day after Charlie was convicted, he and his wife went over to Donna and Harvey's house. He said Donna was distraught and Harvey was in shock.
Were you somewhat savvier than they when it comes to booking travel?
Oh, yeah. I've been to 75 countries around the world.
Okay. And were you asked to assist them in any way on November 7th of 2023?
Yes.
And specifically, what were you asked to do?
Initially, I helped Donna with the visa. And then when we were done applying for the visa, Donna took Susan to show her the dress that she bought for Lincoln's bar mitzvah. And then she asked Harvey to sit down with me and make plane reservations.
Okay. When you sat down to assist with the reservations, what did you discover?
The ironic thing was that the round trip was a fraction more than one way. And I suggested, since you don't know when you're coming back until sometime in January, book a one way.
He said the plan was for them to come back for their grandson's bar mitzvah. He said both he and the Adelsons had been to Vietnam before. He said it's a great country with great people and great food.
Can you describe the type of mother and grandmother that you observed Donna to be?
Well, Donna was the ultimate Jewish mother, not unlike my wife, that was very involved in their children and grandchildren's lives. I think Donna maybe was a little more involved in her grandchildren because of the situation of grandsons losing their father, Wendy working, and also they live close by, Donna and Harvey in South Beach.
So, am I hearing you correctly? You would describe Donna as a typical Jewish grandmother?
More than typical.
And a typical Jewish mother?
Yes.
On cross, Prosecutor Kappelman asked him about a prior deposition he gave in August 2024, where he said he didn't make any of the travel decisions. He was just the conduit for the technology.
You were there because you were more computer savvy than Harvey or Donna, right?
I was there that day.
Yes, sir. To help with the computer is what you said in the deposition.
Well, once we got there, I was there because my wife had done estate planning for them.
Okay, but what you did in reference to the travel planning was help with the computer.
Yes.
Because you were more computer savvy than these two.
Correct.
Okay. But today you're saying you suggested the one-way flight, right?
I just offered my suggestion.
Okay. And you said that Donna Adelson is a typical Jewish grandmother. Does a typical Jewish grandmother suggest dressing her grandchildren up in Nazi uniforms?
Not to my knowledge.
No further questions.
Tarana Khan is a private investigator who was retained by Donna's defense team to interview Patricia Byrd. She met with her at the Leon County Jail. She testified that Patricia never told her about Donna promising her things and that she never said anything about Donna having confessed to her. Eddie Varnes is another private investigator who met with Patricia Byrd at the jail in August 2024.
How did the conversation go?
Basically, I met her and I introduced myself and explained to her who I was. And I said, you understand you might have some information on the case? And she said, yes.
And she might have some information on Donna Adelson's case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did she have information about?
She told me she had some information about what Katie McBanawa had stated to her back in 2021 when they were incarcerated together.
Now, did she tell you that Donna Adelson offered her any sort of compensation to testify in her case?
No, sir.
Okay. Specifically, did Miss Byrd tell you that Donna Adelson offered to buy her a piece of land?
No, sir.
Did Miss Byrd tell you that Donna Adelson offered to buy her a trailer for that piece of land?
No, sir.
Did Miss Byrd tell you Miss Adelson offered to buy her a vehicle?
No, sir.
What about veneers for her teeth?
No, sir.
So she didn't tell you any of those things that she is saying Donna Adelson offered?
Absolutely not.
Did she tell you that Donna Adelson confessed to her?
Absolutely not.
He said she made mention to him that she was expecting an offer from the state soon. Detective Joshua Turner with the Leon County Sheriff's Office interviewed Drina Bernhardt in December 2024. He recorded an interview with her at the state attorney's office. During his testimony, video of Donna and Drina in the jailhouse cafeteria was played for the jury. Drina can be seen writing in a notebook. She then shows something to Donna. Later, they can both be seen writing and discussing it together. The next witness was Kristen Adamson, family law attorney who has been practicing for 37 years. She represented Wendy in 2012 through part of 2014.
Would you call her divorce a bitter custody battle?
I would not. That's not how I would characterize it.
How would you characterize it?
She had a relocation case where she desired to go to Miami. All relocation cases are a little bit more difficult than just regular custody cases because we almost always have to have a court determination on a relocation case because unlike almost all other family law cases, relocation is a win-lose thing. Almost everything else in family law is sort of a split the baby. Relocation is not. So we did have to go to court on that, and that going to court always is a little bit harder, but in general, this was more or less after that a run-of-the-mill kind of parenting issue kind of case.
She said getting a relocation motion granted is hard. It's a 50-50 shot at best, and she said she advised Wendy of this.
I thought she had some good reasons. I would never have someone file a relocation if I didn't think they had a shot at it. So I think she did have a shot at it for many reasons, but including the fact that her parents were down there, that Professor Markel had a very flexible job. He had family in South Florida. These were very little children at the time. We did not have the presumption of 50-50 parenting, and she had done most of the parenting. There were lots of reasons I felt like she had a really pretty good shot at it. But I did tell her it's not going to be easy.
She said Wendy was upset that she didn't win the relocation motion, but she understood and was resigned to it. She told the jury about Dan's motions after the settlement agreement.
His first one, basically, if I remember correctly, was all about the money. And he said that he shouldn't have to pay because she had hidden the Charles Schwab money from him, and he used to have power of attorney, so he knew that she hid the money, which doesn't make sense because if he had power of attorney, he would know what the money was. So it didn't make sense to me. But anyway, that she had hidden that money and that she hadn't told him about several other of her retirement accounts, and therefore the marital settlement agreement was breached and he shouldn't have to pay her the money.
So he filed a response, but did he seek to have the settlement agreement itself voided or set aside?
He did not. So, and that is what I told Wendy at the time, is that is not a proper defense for not paying the money. Professor Markel, it was pretty obvious that he had actually written this pleading himself, and the lawyer just signed off on it. It had footnotes, which is not something litigation lawyers would do. It was voluminous, and it was very personal about what was going on and Wendy and how I don't think at this point he alleged that he might have alleged that she had committed fraud. But an appropriate pleading would have been for him to file a 12.540. I know it's kind of technical, but basically if you think that an agreement is reached and it is not in good faith or there's assets that were not provided, then you must file within a year for a 12.540 to have the whole agreement set aside. You can't just say one good breach is another. And I filed a pleading basically saying that his motion should be dismissed because it was inappropriate. And
you filed a motion to strike as a sham pleading?
I did. I filed a motion saying this was an inappropriate pleading and it should be dismissed because it wasn't the correct way to go about doing what he wanted to do.
She said Dan also alleged fraud on both hers and Wendy's parts. She said she told Wendy not to worry about it. She testified that Dan wanted to depose Wendy, and they went back to court again.
And what happened at that hearing?
At that hearing, which we did not have transcribed, which we usually do, but we didn't because it was pretty much a 15-minute hearing, The judge read all of the pleadings, and she said that she was very unhappy with Professor Markel's pleadings. She did not like them. She thought they were a poke in my client's eye, and they were not appropriate, and she never wanted to see pleadings like this in front of her again, but she was going to allow the deposition.
She acknowledged that a year after the divorce, Dan made some allegations about parenting time and things of that nature.
So that's the first time, and this is actually almost a year after the divorce, and we're done with the whole divorce. That's the first time that he brought up any parenting issues. And it was a series of issues that he had now about the parenting. And it was that Wendy wasn't allowing him to FaceTime with his children as much as he wanted to, that they weren't allowed to go to be present at the same birthday parties, that if there was a birthday party that he was at, she wouldn't come, things like that. And that she wasn't, I think there was a right of first refusal in it, and that she was letting her mom watch the kids, and he didn't like her mom watching the kids. And I think he alleged that her mom was saying bad things to the kids, potentially about him. I think that was the first time. He also, I think it was that pleading where he went on a little bit more about Wendy and how she should probably be disbarred from the practice of law, and that I should be disbarred from the practice of law. I think it was that one.
She said she didn't believe the grandma motion would have been granted. It wasn't possible, she said, and she told Wendy that. Linda Bailey is another family law attorney who has handled around 2,000 cases. She was called by the defense as an expert in family law. She said she spoke with Wendy's prior attorney and reviewed the court filings. She was asked about Donna's involvement in the proceedings and if it was unusual, and she said no, she sees that a lot.
Now, in the emails that you reviewed, did you see my client's use of the nickname Gibbers to refer to Mr. Markel?
I did.
Did you find that especially provocative?
No. I mean, gibbers means someone who speaks gibberish. And if you look at Mr. Markel's motions and memorandums and responses he filed in this case, it was somewhat applicable. He was very verbose. If you looked at his writings as a complete layperson, they may at first glance seem somewhat intimidating, but when you broke them down paragraph by paragraph, they were inconsistent. They didn't make sense. They referred to, in multiple situations, he was seeking enforcement of things that were not court ordered, even afterwards in the February 2014 timeframe. So he was very wordy.
She was asked if it appeared to her in the email she reviewed that Donna was accepting of the denial of the relocation motion.
Yes, it was done.
When you say it was done, what do you mean?
I mean, Wendy waived her right to appeal that by agreeing that the relocation would be dismissed. So,
now, prior to final judgment being entered, would Wendy have been able to attempt negotiating with Mr. Markel to try to get relocation even though the judge denied it?
She could have.
Would there be anything improper with Wendy or her family through Wendy offering some sort of financial incentive to Dan Markel to convince him to agree for her to relocate?
I see that all the time.
She said after the divorce was finalized, it appeared to her that things were amicable.
Even after these motions had been filed that kind of upped the temperature a little bit, and they were working well. I saw some communications where Mr. Markel was inviting her to join him in the Boys for Ice Cream. I know that there were many occasions where he was traveling and his travel plans adjusted, and she adjusted exchange times based on his travel. I think he did the same for her. They were swapping days. It was actually much more amicable than many cases I see. They were very flexible with each other.
She was asked how Dan and Wendy's divorce compared to the variety of cases she has handled.
Simply, it was routine. It was amicable. I've done similar cases that have had anything from 2-day to 7-day trials. I've had them range from $200,000 to $500,000 in fees and costs. I've had multiple financial experts, child development experts, vocational experts, all retained, deposed, testifying. I've had cases with multiple discovery issues, discovery over psychological records, financial records, third-party subpoenas, 2 full days of deposition of just one party. This was an easy case compared to many.
On cross, Prosecutor Kappelman asked her about her opinion that Wendy and Dan's divorce was amicable and not contentious.
And when you communicate these things to your clients, hey, this is no big deal, this is no problem, this is a bunch of gibberish, do they always accept that?
Well, that's not the way I would present it, but...
Do they ever get upset about the gibberish in the pleadings, the offensive materials in the pleadings, regardless of whether or not it's going to impact their chance of success in court? It can be emotionally charged, can it?
Well, I would say annoying more than emotionally charged.
You would not say that divorce and child custody issues are emotionally charged?
They can be. But in this case, they weren't.
They weren't? How do you know?
From the pleadings, because I don't have 10,000 pages in front of me.
You're not in the mind of the people whose lives are impacted by these pleadings. It's not just about pieces of paper and a binder, is it?
I don't think that's what I said.
People's lives are impacted by the decisions that go on in court, which for you are routine. Would you agree?
In this instance, they reached agreement on all issues, so they had complete control of what was coming out of the court.
Ma'am, could you please answer my question? Are people's lives impacted in drastic ways by routine matters that we see in court as lawyers?
People's lives change after divorce, certainly.
So, like, I may think I've got a bag of stinky garbage, but the garbage man might not think it's stinky at all. Do you get the reference?
I don't.
What is no big deal to us is a big deal to these litigants, right? You can't agree with that. You can't agree with it. Strike the question.
Marisol Descalzo is a criminal defense attorney who represented Donna shortly after she was arrested. She said at one point she had concerns about Donna's mental state.
She had made numerous statements about terminating her life if her son, Charlie Adelson, was convicted.
Did that cause you to take any steps or actions to determine what you needed to do?
Yes.
And what were those?
Well, first, I conferred with Daniel Rashbaum, who represented Charlie Adelson. So we discussed it. And we decided that we needed to call Ethics Council and call the Florida Bar to determine if we needed to take any additional steps, such as Baker acting her, or Baker acting is putting her in a mental institution, or anything else.
Okay. After doing that, did you have further discussions with Mrs. Adelson about her mental state and what she was going to do to try to clear things up?
Mr. Rashbaum and I spoke to her further, and, you know, she told us that what she really wanted to do was she wanted, you know, to get away on a vacation with her husband. Her husband agreed that this would be good for her mental state, and so we discussed a potential vacation.
She said Charlie's attorney, Dan Rashbaum, contacted the state attorney and there was no warrant for her arrest at the time. She agreed that she talked to Donna about what would happen if arrest warrant was issued. Sarah Newhouse was a victim advocate at the Tallahassee Police Department when Dan Markel was killed. She was in the interrogation room with Wendy while Wendy was being interviewed by investigators.
When Wendy Adelson called her mother, do you recall Donna Adelson's reaction to being told that Dan Markel had been shot?
Yes.
Okay. Did this upset her?
She sounded shocked, I guess would be the word that you'd say.
And it appeared that this was the first time she was hearing about it?
Yes.
And did she make any statements that you could hear from where you were sitting?
I don't recall if I could hear other than reviewing the video, but it sounded like a normal amount of upset given a crisis situation.
In her closing arguments, prosecutor Georgia Kappelman spoke about Dan Markel and what a good son, friend, professor, and most importantly, father he was. She said his downfall was brought about by the fact that his number one priority was maximizing his time with his little boys in the wake of a bitter divorce from their mother.
Defense called witnesses to come in here and give you an expert opinion that his divorce and the subsequent litigation was not contentious. Not contentious to whom? It was contentious to Dan Markel. It was contentious to Wendy Adelson. And it was contentious to this defendant. And then after telling you what a great guy Dan Markel was in opening statements, they called witnesses to tell you what a pain in the butt he was. And he was a pain in the butt to those people, those awful lawyers that can't even admit that divorces are emotionally charged. He was a pain in their butts. He was a pain in Wendy's butt, and he was a pain in Donna's butt. Why? Because this was his life we were talking about. Dan Markel was not a file on some lawyer's desk. He was a real person who cared passionately about every scrap of paper in that divorce file. He wasn't some bumbling idiot. He was a Harvard-educated law professor. And yeah, he was making it as difficult as possible for this defendant to get her non-negotiable, which just also happened to be Dan Markel's non-negotiable, those two little boys.
She said today is Donna Adelson's turn to be held accountable for her role in the murder conspiracy. She told the jury to ask themselves who solicited Charlie, because Charlie didn't care about Dan Markel.
He didn't care about relocation. He didn't care about Wendy's divorce. He cared about go-karts and jet skis and pretty girls. But he also cared about getting things done for the number one woman in his life, and that was his mother. She managed Charlie's life for him, and in return, he solved problems for her. That pattern is seen throughout this case. He talks to Wendy on the defendant's behalf to get her to pull the plug on the Tallahassee house, to date Dave and invite him to Mother's Day to pursue a medical malpractice job, even though that's not even her area of the law. And on and on and on. She micromanaged Wendy's life. Charlie knows how to manage Wendy in a way that Donna can't, or knows how to talk to her in a way that Donna can't. And Wendy needs their help, right? Because according to them, she doesn't even have enough of a brain in her head to run her own life without their help. Donna decides what's best for everyone, and if she runs into any problems making that happen, Charlie is her go-to guy to get it done. He is the problem solver. And what was the biggest problem that Donna Adelson had in 2014? Dan Markel.
Prosecutor Kappelman went over the timeline again, paying special attention to Halloween 2013.
Several important events in the case occur on Halloween 2013. One, Wendy officially takes Dan Markel back to court, filing her motion to enforce the marital settlement agreement. So she's alleging he violated it, and she's asking to hold him in contempt of court, alleging that he's not paid the agreed-upon fees that he was supposed to pay by a certain deadline. Wendy backs out of the contract that she had signed to buy a house in Tallahassee on Halloween 2013. Charlie later brags to the defendant that he talked Wendy out of buying the house, and the defendant calls him a miracle worker for having convinced Wendy not to buy the house in Tallahassee. Also, Charlie meets up with Catherine Magbanua on Lincoln Road on Halloween 2013, the same day Wendy pulled the plug on the house, and approaches the subject with her for the first time of, hey, do you know anybody that I could hire to harm someone? And she did.
Charlie sends this picture of himself and Catherine Magbanua together to Wendy that night, October 31st, 2013. First night, he solicited Catherine Magbanua to be a part of a murder, or a part of what would become a murder. Mid-November, Jeff Lacoste meets the defendant for the first time. Remember Jeff? He was Wendy's boyfriend that testified. He said he would meet her 6 to 7 other times in addition to that first time during the course of his relationship with Wendy. Sometimes just in passing, picking Wendy up for a date. Other times more substantially, including taking the boys to the circus. And that becomes maybe important later. Meanwhile, the fighting continues into December. We're in December of 2013 by now. On December 16th, Dan Markel emails Wendy and the parenting coordinator that was assigned to help them try to navigate these issues about the defendant, Donna Adelson, disparaging him to his kids. In this email, he introduces what he calls a major issue. The headline on this concern is not buried, guys. Like he says, I'm introducing a major issue. He very plainly gives a preview of the grandma motion, which will ultimately be filed in March of the next year. And here he says that on November 8th, one of the boys announced at a Markel family dinner that grandma, referring to this defendant, says you're stupid. Grandma says you're stupid.
She said well after the divorce was final, in January 2014, the year of the murder, the emails between Wendy and Donna proved that Donna was still angry. Donna writes, "Wow, is he on drugs? And is he going to pay the $70,000 plus legal fees and interest that the bastard owes you?" In February 2014, Dan emails Wendy and says he is going to file more motions claiming that she was hiding assets from the court and giving false testimony under oath. He also accuses her attorney of misconduct. Later, Donna writes to Wendy, "Something has to be done with this asshole." In March 2014 were those text messages between Donna and Charlie where Donna references a birthday gift for Harvey and tells him to erase the text after reading.
So erase after reading. You might think, well, maybe she was just trying to keep the birthday gift a surprise. But why does Charlie need to erase it? Harvey's not with Charlie. Harvey's with Donna. And according to Rob, there were no birthday gifts for Harvey unless the murder was supposed to be the birthday gift. Plus, in the text, Donna wants Charlie to delete after reading the text that doesn't mention the birthday. She doesn't say anything about deleting the one that does mention the birthday. Rob Adelson was present at the birthday party, which did take place between the 2 trips that the hitmen took to Tallahassee. And there were no birthday gifts, according to him.
The following week, Wendy's boyfriend at the time, Jeff Lacoste, met Charlie and Katie Magbanua for the first time, where Charlie bragged about having connections to people on the wrong side of the tracks.
Notable in the same time frame, March 21st, 2014, the defendant signs a lease on a condo in South Beach, a condo where Wendy, after Dan's killed, would move in with her kids. They say, that was a weekend place, so it's pretty convenient timing. You just happen to get this other house and have it set up for Wendy to move into after her ex-husband's murdered, and she's able to relocate.
Also in March 2014, Dan officially filed the grandma motion.
Contrary to what the defense said in court, in his prayer for relief, the remedy Markel was seeking was to have the court order this defendant to have no contact with those boys unless she was supervised, because he didn't want her disparaging him to the boys, and because it was a violation of the right of first refusal, in his opinion, for Wendy to leave the boys all the time with her mom and not give him a chance to have them if Wendy wasn't going to keep them. How do you think Donna took this information? She refers to those kids as hers. She was the one sacrificing her time at the office to be up here in Tallahassee doing for those boys. She had invested so much of her own time in this fight against Dan Markel to try to get a win for the family. And after all that investment in those kids and all the money spent on the attorneys and all that time spent at the kitchen table working on those divorce filings, Donna Adelson was losing.
Prosecutor Kappelman said, but Jibbers still hadn't beaten the Adelson family yet because there was another option, to hire a hitman.
Charlie joked about hiring a hitman, but he had also been actively pursuing that option at least since Halloween of 2013. Over the last several months, Charlie had several conversations with Catherine Magbanua about this job, which started as a request to harm and then eventually revealed itself as a murder for hire. Recall that Magbanua said that often when she and Charlie would discuss the murder and the pressing need to get it done, he would emphasize to her that the toll that Wendy's situation was taking on his parents emotionally and physically as they were stressed to the point of being physically ill. So he would often tell her that's the motive. That's why we need to get this done. It's stressing out my mom. On May 16, 2014, 2 months before the murder, Wendy was added as a resident to that condo in South Florida. On May 30th, 2014, Donna sends Charlie the text, quote, "Horrible morning with Danny. Tough conversation with her." This text was sent less than 2 months before the murder. The drama is continuing. Everyone's still fighting.
She said before the June trip, Charlie prepared the envelope and Katie delivered it. She said when the hitmen went to Tallahassee that month, they followed Dan around while he was in his car with the same license plate information that Donna had written inside of her planner.
Wendy and Jeff Lacoste have their coffee date, at which she cancels their planned trip to California on July 11th through the 17th. She offers no real explanation for why she's canceling, except to say that she's real worried about being able to pick up the boys on the 18th. The 18th, of course, ends up being the day that Dan Markel is killed. Later that night, Jeff Lacoste goes to Wendy's, and she's a nervous wreck. She won't tell him what's wrong, but her stomach's upset, and he goes and gets her Pepto-Bismol. The killers are in town when that happens. The hitmen spend a day and a half following Dan Markel around Tallahassee. Here they are near the park there by his residence. They scope out his residence, and although Rivera had already purchased the murder weapon, a revolver that he got on the streets for the express purpose of killing Dan Markel, they lost him, or he was with the kids, or for whatever reason they did not get the job completed on the June trip. After the hitmen failed to get the job done, Charlie tells Donna on June 7th of 2014 that he's still working on Dad's birthday present, and she says, "I know you'll come through."
She said on June 28th, 2014, Wendy sent a picture of her and Jeff to her brother Rob and said she hadn't told their mom and dad about him yet.
She includes a request to her brother Rob not to tell her parents about her relationship with Jeff. This suggestion of a secret boyfriend later prompted Rob to suggest Jeff as a potential suspect to the FBI, a secret boyfriend. This was also a little odd that she sent this because Wendy never talked to Rob about her boyfriends, and also because Jeff had already met her parents several times. June 30th of 2014, the defendant comes and gets Wendy and the boys from Tallahassee to take them down to Miami. Remember how she doesn't let Wendy drive with the boys to Miami. She rents a car and comes here and picks them up and drives them to Miami herself. And I think Harvey comes with her. Wendy was to be in South Florida for 2 weeks. In the time between the June and the July trip, Charlie begins to put more pressure on Catherine Magbanua to get the murder done. On several occasions when he and Magbanua were discussing the murder, Charlie would step out of the room to call his mother and then return and advise her that the murder needed to get done as soon as possible because his parents were so stressed and worried about Wendy's situation.
Prosecutor Kappelman brought up Charlie's testimony at his trial about how he said he was being extorted by the killers and how Donna had texted her friends afterwards, saying that it was the truth.
It's this extortion theory that we're saying that the defendant adopted when she heard Charlie's testimony and texted everyone she knew that what he just said on the witness stand was the truth. There's a concept in the law known as adoptive admissions. That's when one party makes a statement and the statement is adopted as the truth by another person. So when Charlie says in those first couple wire calls, if there's a threat, you go to the police, it's of interest that Donna doesn't say, what do you mean if there's a threat? We've been extorted for 2 years. There's been a threat for 2 years.
She brought up the wiretaps and how neither Donna nor Charlie ever reported any extortion to the police. She addressed Donna's actions while in jail, too, and said with the script she wrote out for Drina, she was trying to buy witnesses. She said it's true that Donna didn't pull the trigger, but she's guilty of first-degree murder as a principal. In her closing arguments, Donna's attorney, Jackie Fulford, said the defense is the only one in this case that elicited evidence and testimony about the good qualities of Dan Markel. She said them calling the two family law attorneys to the stand and having them talk about the dissolution of Dan and Wendy's marriage was not an attack on Dan.
We didn't put that evidence on. The state is the one that made it an issue. They put those documents into evidence, the things that Mr. Markel had filed. So we're the defense, and we represent Donna Adelson, and we're just supposed to say, okay, well, they put it in, let's just let it sit there. We have an obligation to represent our client, and what happened in that divorce, whether it was contentious or not, was an issue the state brought up. They've been calling this a bitter custody battle for years, and they started this case by saying the same thing. So to have the people who were actually involved in the case point out that there never was a bitter custody battle is important because there never was one. There was never a time when they were fighting over somebody having access to the children. In those pleadings, nobody says, you can't have them, I've got them. You can't have them, I've got them. When they filed their initial pleadings, they did what everybody, according to the lawyer who was on the case for Mrs. Adelson, meaning Wendy, on the case for Wendy, they all filed their typical pleadings. And in the beginning, you ask for certain stuff, and she asked for 5149, maybe for a tax purpose. But there was never one single time, and you can't be convinced that relocation was the issue where they were going to take Danny Markel's kids away from them. If you believe that, you are ignoring the evidence that the state of Florida put on against Donna Adelson. And when I told you in opening that this was all about theory and belief of what a motive was, and there was no evidence that a crime was committed by my client, Donna Adelson, that is exactly what has happened in this courtroom. The state is ignoring the evidence that came in through their witnesses that support our defense, and instead they stand before you with calls and text messages, and they tell you what they mean. That's not evidence. Their argument about what a conversation means is not evidence.
She said the relocation issue had been over for more than a year when Dan was killed.
That's the motive? It's been over for a year, and they said yesterday in court that the relocation issue didn't stop when Danny Markel was, when the divorce was over. It continued going on. The emails showed that. There is not a single email that's been put in by the state that shows that my client, Donna Adelson, was continuing on a rampage about relocation. The last email that they showed you today that my client wrote about relocation was July the 19th of 2013. The divorce was final on the 31st, said and done.
She told the jury that it was 2 months after the murder when Charlie told his mom for the first time what he knew about the case.
Now, all she knows is what he's telling her, but it's 2 months after the murder when he's telling her, well, what happened was I got a girlfriend and I had told her about this $1 million offer, and she said it in front of some of her friends, and they've gone up there and killed Danny Markel, and now they're demanding money. And so they said if I didn't turn over my third of the $1 million, this is what he claims that they elicited, if I didn't turn over that money, then I'd be dead in 48 hours or they'd kill my family. So he goes into his safe and pulls out $138,000 cash, puts it in a bag, gives it to Katie, tells his mother 2 months after the homicide, now he's being extorted. She works at Adelson Institute. They want you to believe this is a family business. Does family work there? Clearly. But who owns the business? Who does the money belong to? Who is Mrs. Adelson writing and paying all the bills for? Who's she doing the salary for? Everybody there. Everybody there. So he tells her, right around $1,000 a month to Katie Magbanois, it'll save my life.
She reiterated that all Donna knew was what her son told her.
But she conspired with people to have him killed. She got the hitman to have him killed, and she wanted him killed, and he ended up dead. She doesn't even know about this going on. And the only version she knows is what her son has told her. Did she say, oh, the truth's coming out, the truth's coming out, the truth's coming out? She did, because that's what Charlie had told her the truth was. And that's her son. And she believed him. And she didn't want her son to die. She wrote paychecks at Charlie's instruction. That's not her giving cash and paying off murderers. That's a paycheck to Katie. That's it. That's all she did.
She played the call between Donna and the undercover agent who orchestrated the bump, where Donna says she doesn't know anything.
5 times they tried. They tried to get her to pay the money. They tried to get her to admit that she was involved in this. And 5 times it failed because Mrs. Adelson tells them in this call, he keeps telling her, I know everything, I know everybody, I know what happened. And she tells him in this call, if you know, go to the police. Go to the police and get the reward. Why in the world, if she's guilty of committing these crimes, is she telling somebody who apparently knows everything to go to the police? If you're guilty, you're not sending anybody to the police. That's why they think they can get her with the $5K. But she didn't do it. And still consistently, Charlie is saying, nothing to worry about. Don't worry. You can hear the fear and worry in her voice on that call. Now, the state talks about coding and code words. And one of the things they say is that in one of the discussions with Charlie, Mrs. Adelson says, it's about the two of us. It couldn't be more clear what that means. Her son told her in September of 2014 that he got extorted.
He has to pay this money. He has paid the money, and he's going to keep paying the money so he doesn't get killed.
She said Donna was not trying to flee.
She packed her bags, no warrant. She gets in her car to drive to the airport, no warrant. She gets to the airport, and sometime therein, they actually get a warrant, and she knows nothing about it. They go to where she is seated with her husband, waiting for the flight to board, sitting down amongst the crowd, and they watch her and wait, even though they've got a warrant. They don't arrest her. And he gives some, there was a crowd of people. There's no more crowd than when you enter the jetway and everybody's trying to get on the airplane. They waited until she presented her ticket and walked through the little door so they could say that she was actually fleeing. It was a setup. They knew exactly what was going on. They set her up so they could claim, we captured the matriarch murderer. She was fleeing the country to flee prosecution, never to return. It was a great story. Got a lot of headlines. Spun with their theory. But we're in trial almost 2 years later, and they know she wasn't fleeing this country.
She told the jury the state did not prove their case.
In all the evidence they have collected, she can't help herself but run her mouth. Not a single email, no phone calls that are recorded, no written documents, no emails, not one single thing that said anything about wanting Danny Markel killed. The most aggressive thing they have are her foul words and wanting to aggravate him. This is not, could she possibly have done it? Could she probably have done it? Might she have done it? You have been sitting here hearing testimony for almost 2 weeks, and there's not a single piece of evidence that connects my client to that murder. Charlie Adelson? Yep. Potentially Wendy Adelson? She's the one who said she hated him. She's the one fighting with him in court. Donna Adelson? Nothing. Not a single piece of evidence. You have to find her not guilty because they have failed to do their job on all 3 counts. They cannot prove she had him killed. At the time that he was killed, she had paid anybody or asked anybody to do it. Please take this case seriously. Please go back and review the evidence. Please discuss what's been presented.
When Charlie was convicted, his jury was out for about 3 hours. After about 3 hours of deliberation in Donna's case, her jury came back as well.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment, solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
After the verdict, Prosecutor Kappelman spoke to reporters. She joked that she didn't want them to ask her the question, which was undoubtedly if any more arrests were on the way. After Charlie's trial, she had said, "Stay tuned."
Georgia, does Wendy have reason to be worried tonight?
You said that word. That's a bad word.
Bad word.
No W questions.
Worried is a bad word. Well, that's, should we say stay tuned? Do we need to stay tuned? Stay tuned.
I mean, you can stay tuned.
And that's all for this episode. Follow us on Instagram at Court Junkie if you aren't already. And if you want to support the show and hear these episodes without any ads, you can check out our Patreon options at courtjunkie.com/support. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.
This October, Fear is free on Pluto TV with horror movie collections from Paranormal Activity, The Ring.
You will die in 7 days.
Scream. And From Dusk Till Dawn.
This is my kind of place.
And don't miss the man-made nightmares in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or the world-ending chaos in 28 Days Later.
There's something in the blood.
All the scares, all for free. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.